Discussions with some major players such as the European Central Bank (ECB) are now beginning to pick up speed. For instance, they are discussing their future plans and why 2025 will be the year that the digital currency revolution begins to accelerate more quickly than we previously believed was possible. Everyone, welcome to Peppa Coin channel. Since we are beginning to see a significant push outside of the US on the de-dollarization movement, I have been concentrating on what Russia has been doing, particularly with regard to several of the BRICS countries. However, we haven't really seen a lot of attention paid to it outside of the US, such as the tariff talks, the trade war, or even the sanctions. In fact, we are unsure of precise figures. However, if we do a little study, we can see the numbers, and Bitcoin.com news has that information. For the first time, Russia's payment system has reached a significant milestone. The Russian ruble was used to settle 53.5% of all import payments, with 49.6% of payments to Asian nations and an astounding 45.8% in Latin America already made in rubles. This tendency is only becoming stronger. Businesses can operate more freely because these payments are not monitored and are not subject to unilateral sanctions. A new financial landscape is being paved by solutions like pegging to stable currencies. Despite issues like the volatility of the ruble, the future appears bright with the digital ruble and BRICS payment system in the horizon. Indeed it does. The strange thing about this is that I recently looked at a post that was based on a bar chart, and we actually have here, after rising 38% versus the US dollar this year, the Russian ruble is now the strongest currency in the world. This is really fascinating. And what's really wild about it is that Russia is beginning to take a lot of significant actions that are going unreported because once more the US mainstream media will not cover them. Given that it will have an impact on the US currency, I do believe that everyone should be aware of this. You see, these are signs, significant signs of the future. Now, I did reference this piece and state that it is a significant indication of a global change that is taking place right now. I've seen well-known analysts continue to ignore de-dollarization efforts. These actions will eventually become a far greater issue for the dollar, which is why I have dubbed them the death by 1,000 cuts. All of this culminates in one of the biggest shifts to the monetary system in more than a century. Not only is a reserve currency dying, but the reserve currency system as a whole is dying as well. A multipolar digital financial system supported by decentralized ledgers and currencies is rapidly approaching. Either you are missing the major target, or you are locked on right now. Now pay attention. It's possible that you're accusing me of being in favor of CBDCs. You're in favor of this B system, etc. No, I don't. All I'm doing is reporting on what's truly happening here and sharing with you guys my findings from my ongoing investigation. CBDCs are now being examined by all central banks worldwide. I have been keeping tabs on it for years now. I've seen this chart change from essentially blank to what it is currently, and these are the digital currency statuses as of right now. As of right moment, we haven't really seen any significant developments in 2025. However, I would want to take a moment to go back to April 2020 and show you all what has changed over the past 5 years. It was April 2020. April 2025 is the current year. The amount of mobility that has been going on around CDCs was evident. By the way, the significant acceleration of the push occurred in 2020. For instance, this is January 2020. This is how the chart appeared from the end of 2020 to the start of 2021. That large rapid surge has already begun to appear, and it has just gone on for the past 4 years. We'll talk about that in a moment. We are now seeing a lot more conversations about CBDC. However, I also have to discuss XRP because it's a project I discuss frequently on this channel. And the reason for this is the information that we did receive directly from Ripple. We now know that Ripple is speaking with central banks. Indeed, James Wallace, an employee of their CBDC, informed us that they were in regular communication with 20 to 30 central banks. The percentage, in my opinion, was roughly 16% of the banks worldwide with whom they are genuinely in contact regarding CBDC investigation. However, if we truly examine what Ripple stated in their white paper, the future of CBDC's interoperability is what they directly quoted. Interoperability is essential since it is conceivable that we will eventually live in a world with a variety of CBDCs, sometimes known as a multipolar world. Although the majority of central banks concentrate on resolving domestic issues, each CBDC's own recipe must include cross-border coordination due to the global structure of trade and finance. Instead of creating a more efficient and inclusive evolution of money, they said, central banks will be limiting the effectiveness of their CBDC and jeopardizing the future of their financial system in the absence of this essential interoperability. Naturally, XRP is able to link CBDCs. According to Ripple, a neutral bridge asset can sustain robust alternative liquidity markets, enabling real-time, frictionless, and affordable value transfers between different CBDCs. Ripple claims that since private financial institutions also use XRP for foreign exchange operations, it is the ideal digital currency to operate as a neutral link between the CBDCs. Over time, numerous Ripple workers told us this. David Schwartz discussed this. This was discussed by Brad Garlinghouse. Monica discussed this for a long time. We've heard that XRP is the ideal neutral bridge asset for currency bridges, particularly considering the length of time that XRP has been in the market and the success of the proofs of concept that they have conducted with well-known companies, such as the Bank of England. Let's continue with this now. Let's truly discuss this post for a short while, dated mid-March, which further validates my hypothesis regarding this multipolar world. While Russia and Iran have long been discussing the creation of a stable coin backed by gold, both nations are now using cryptocurrencies to settle oil contracts. In the upcoming years, keep a close eye on the petrodollar. Many people are still asleep. Indeed, the financial war is intensifying. And what do you know? Yes, most people on the planet, you could say 90% or 99%. The percentage doesn't actually matter. However, the majority of people are asleep, you know, and they aren't even paying attention to the trade war and tariffs during this time. We have seen de-dollarization pick up speed over the past few years, particularly the last 3 years when the sanctions against Russia were introduced. But it's not just about the dollar. The new multipolar digital financial system is being accelerated by this. In addition, I did draw attention to a significant update that we received on the 16th. As U.S. tariffs put pressure on international trade, and the BRICS continue de-dollarization, Russia's finance ministry advocates for a state-backed stablecoin. What's crazy about this is that as far back as August 2024, Russia was introducing 2 cryptocurrency exchanges and stablecoins that were connected to the BRICS currency and the yuan. Additionally, Russia intends to tie the new stablecoin to the Chinese yuan. The month was August 2024. April 2025 is the current year. For years, the BRICS have been constructing with the goal of moving away from the dollar as their primary emphasis. In addition, the ECB provided us with a significant update. What makes this significant? The reason for this is that each country is now displaying their deck of cards. They're telling us that the multipolar world of banking is coming if you listen and look closely enough. The question of whether the US dollar is the reserve currency is no longer relevant. The fact that we won't require a reserve currency is more important. I have discussed this on this channel. We require a reliable asset that will maintain its value for the duration required for cross-border payments and foreign exchange transactions to settle, which normally takes 3 to 5 business days, or occasionally even longer, up to 9 or more days. This is why we need a reserve currency. They therefore require a stable, valuable currency. The usage of a reserve currency, however,